God bless you. We're here today to talk to you just a little bit to hopefully encourage you to move on forward with what God has you doing. God have called so many of us to some very special works, and the enemy is upset about us getting it done. He's upset about us achieving what God has assigned to our hand. Today, I want to talk to you about the tank called life. I went to a restaurant, and I don't know about you, but I love fish. And one of the fish that I like is called codfish. And sometimes, depending on where you go, you can notice that the fish is not fresh, it's mushy, it's not good. And there's a reason for that. In the northeastern United States, codfish it's a real big commercial business, and there is a market for eastern cod all over the United States, especially in sections furthest removed from the northeast coastline. So they have a problem with getting it from one place to the other. The demand for codfish, it posed such a problem to the shippers at first that they froze the cod trying to get it where it had to go. They shipped the cod as they tried to move it, and the freezing method that they used, it took away much of the flavor. So they experimented with shipping the cod live in a tank of seawater, but that didn't work out. That proved to even be worse, as a matter of fact. Not only was it more expensive to ship that way, in that manner, the cod still lost their flavor and, in addition, became soft and mushy en route. Finally, somebody came on the scene and they invited an idea into the room and they started talking about it, and it seemed to solve the problem. The codfish were placed in a tank of water, and while the cod was in the water, they decided that they would put the cod's natural enemy, the catfish, into the tank with the cod. Now, from the time the cod left the East Coast until it arrived at their destination, those catfish chased the cod all over the tank. The most amazing thing was found out when it arrived where they wanted it to go. When the cod arrived at the market, they were as fresh as the day they were first caught. There was no loss of flavor, nor was the texture affected. If anything, they found out that it was better than before. Isn't that amazing? Now, each of us, we're in a tank of our own particular and inescapable circumstances. Yes, it's painful sometimes and sometimes almost unbearable to be in this tank we call life. I don't know about you, but from my perspective, sometimes I feel that my tank is full, but I've come to realize that God doesn't see it that way because He loves us and wants us to be the best that we can be. So, what He did, He has made sure that there are enough God appointed catfish in our tank to bring sufficient tension to keep us alive, alert, fresh, and growing constantly. It's all a part of God's project to shape our character so that we will be more like Him. At times, you may think that you'll be eaten alive or you're losing by the predators in your tank. They scare you, they make you feel uncomfortable. But just remember, God is using those things in your midst to accomplish His will in your life. So before I close, I just like to tell you, be thankful, TANK, to have them there. Your enemy isn't always pleasant. And when they're in your tank, they can make you feel very unwanted, very unnecessary, very unneeded, but they are necessary for you to be all that God has called you to be. So be thankful, TANK. There's something to make you smile. It's not all bad. Romans 8:28 tells us, And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Now, if you know you've been called according to his purpose, then you have no reason to worry. You have no reason to be afraid. You have no reason to feel locked out of his special place he has prepared for you. God loves you and he set it all up, and he allowed those appointed catfish to be in your tank for a reason. Oh, they're chasing you, they're bothering you with this, they're bothering you with that, they're saying this, they're saying that, they're doing this, not doing that, they're helping, then they're not helping, but they're all designed to make you better, to help you arrive to your appointed place. Every pit stop along the way is not your destination, it's not your appointed place. So sometimes when we pause and rest in the wrong place, this causes us to become ineffective or soggy like the codfish. I don't know if you ever had soggy tasting, mushy codfish. I don't like it. But man, when it's fresh and it's just right, oh boy, it's quiet at my table. I enjoy that. To keep that codfish fresh, the catfish had to be ornery. He had to chase him around. He had to do his job. He had to be bout it, as they say, and make sure that the cod didn't get a break. When he got to where he was going, he was fresh, ready to serve his purpose. Your enemy are not always the worst thing that can happen to you. Sometimes, had it not been for the liar, you would not be where you are now. Had it not been for the hater, you wouldn't be where you are now. But they kept provoking, pushing, annoying, keeping you from resting in the place that wasn't your resting place. Some of us would have stopped way before we got where we are now, but thank God for those appointed catfish God put in our tank. Keep going. Keep moving for God. Watch what he does. He's going to bless you and he's going to show himself strong on your behalf. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody discourage you or hold you back. And don't let yourself prove to be your worst enemy. Sometimes it's our thinking that works against us, causes us to pause where we're not supposed to pause, and pitch a tent where we're not supposed to stay, build a house and move completely out of God's will to a place we don't belong in. God, I thank you for the appointed catfish in my life. They've kept me swimming, kept me moving, kept me growing, kept me increasing in you, Lord. I thank you for it right now. Next time you go to the fish market, think about this little message. It's not much, but just something for you to know how to look at your enemy in a different light. Don't let them all run away. They serving a purpose. Those that are talking and lying, sometimes God hired them to do his advertising on your behalf of what he's doing in your life. Since you can't tell it, he let them tell it. And they'll run, they'll tell the bad so that God can overshadow that with the good that otherwise might not have even been noticed if the bad hadn't have been exploited, pushed to the front, lifted so high, such a bright light on it. People could tell the difference. It's kind of like going on Oprah and you see the before and after. Your testimony is a powerful thing. So the more you testify, the more you can actually enjoy your testimony. A lot of people tell it, but they don't really enjoy where the testimony has placed them. Enjoy where your testimony has brought you. Whatever you were, thank God you ain't that now. You might not be all that you want to be or all that you're going to be, but you ain't what the devil intended for you to be. You made it this far. That's a testimony. Start right there. As you testify that, watch God add all of the rest of it to you. Watch him lift you up and raise you up and strengthen you. David said, he restoreth my soul. Watch him revive you and restore you. Raise you up. After that, ye have suffered a while. He's going to establish you. And boy, I tell you, it's been some suffering going on. So you need to get ready for your blessings now. It's about that time, y'all. God is ready to move in your life. Don't let the catfish scare you. They are appointed by God to keep you growing, moving, and on that job that He called you to do. God bless you.